Okie dokie. Let's talk about the difference between the land of Israel and the state of Israel. You are now looking at the land of Israel. The land of Israel is not a political entity. The land of Israel is the reality that those who have completely inculcated Torah to a point where it's actually become our living flesh. When we look out into the world, this is what gets projected from within us when we look at the world. In other words, it's a world of orderliness and beauty and peace in nature. That is the land that Hashem promised to our forefathers and foremothers that we would get there. When you get there, this is what your world looks like. This obviously looks very different than what the videos you're probably watching in the newscast you're probably seeing, showing what the situation looks like in the streets of Tel Aviv and the political entity of Yerushalayim as opposed to the actual entity of Yerushalayim. In order for those Jews to reach this level of Israel, they have to pass through that level. Those Jews who are demonstrating now, and I wholly support them, are still on the level of thinking that they're little people who have to live under a government, and it's better that there's a democratic government than a dictatorship, and they have to get their money from the banks, and they have to follow the rules, and they have to behave themselves, and that basically they are under the rule of all kinds of forces that are not under their control. In order to get to the level of understanding what it is to be Israel and being able to bring the reality of, to bring all realities into reality, to be able to actually control creation itself, they first have to pass through that level. Because there's a lot of junk inside them that is preventing them from being able to do this. They cannot just glance out their window and peace automatically just like lines up. They're not capable of doing that yet. They have to get to that level. And in order to do it, they have to fight for justice at the level which they understand it. And that's what's happening now. They are purifying themselves of the mentality of being slaves. A few years ago, this would not have happened. They were rolling over. They were allowing themselves to be trampled upon. They thought that they were powerless. They thought that they were, oh, we're just little people and we can't fight forces like banks and governments and all kinds of, I don't know, international corporations and all kinds of things like that. All looked very big to them and very scary. So Hashem put them in a position of having to go up against the governmental forces. And as they do that, their powers get stronger. Now they still think that what they're doing is political action. At base, it is political action at their level, but not at base. At base, what they're actually doing is becoming sovereigns. They are doing the footwork, gaining the courage, gaining the faith in themselves, and building the traits, acting on the traits that will allow them to eventually become sovereigns who can say, I'm going to make nice clouds today, and I'm going to make birds that are flying around and they're happy, and I'm going to make perfect trees today, and I'm going to make I'm going to make beautiful green grass today. They're nowhere near that level. In fact, if I were to say to them, you know, you should be doing this, Jews are the ones that are actually bringing the entire universe into being, they would probably say to me, somebody once answered me with a very, very funny response. They said, can I roll you another one? So yeah, it would sound kind of wiggy to them, but that's all right. That's all right. In the meantime, their moral muscles are getting stronger, and eventually they will know what it is to be Israel, and they will get to a point where they can will the laws of nature to line up in peace. That's what's actually happening, and it's a very beautiful thing. Thank you for listening.